Hello. Welcome to Expansions. This is the spiritual dimension of wellness that we get to dive into and explore and expand in. I'm Jane. I'm pre-recording this, and I actually just pre-recorded one and it cut me off about 10 minutes in. So I'm like, So anyway, I wish I could really just pick up where I just left off, because I was like feeling so good in what I was sharing. And I can go back and like talk about it again, but you know when you're like in the flow and you get cut off and it's like, so that's kind of where I am. It's kind of bummed. I'm not gonna lie, kind of bummed. But that's okay. I'm gonna light some Palo Santo. I'm gonna create something new. I'm gonna create something new. So while you settle in, take a deep breath. Get comfortable. Get yourself something to drink. Light some sage or Palo Santo or an incense. And bring yourself into presence, into now. We are in some big energy that's moving around on the earth plane. A lot of high heart activations. So if anyone is going through feelings and experiences of like, this feels really hard, this is hurting, this is really uncomfortable, I don't really know how I'm going to get through this. Welcome to your heart activation, because love for self and others will get us through anything. I mean, you're going to get through it either way. Like, let's be honest. Like, whatever it is that you're going through, whatever it is I'm going through, whatever it is we're going through, we're going to get through it and we're going to be fine. And if you feel good while you're getting through it, it makes the journey so much better. So that's my advice. So anyway, I really want to talk about this whole heart space in spirituality, and why. I feel like when you look at our ancestors, the way they spoke about, taught about, lived spirituality, it was about the heart. It was in relationship to the earth. It was in relationship to the waters and to Father Sky, to the directions, right? The medicine wheel. It was in relationship to the cosmos, to the spaciousness of the unknown, to the planets, to our energy centers, to all of this stuff. And in relating to it all with like honor and respect and kindness and presence. Do no harm, first, number one. And I think that over time, these cultures and traditions shifted to become very righteous, judgmental, fear-based, stagnant, and greedy. Yeah. And I think having that in the awareness of, okay, I have in my DNA been conditioned, not just because we're in a generation where like we've all had our parents been conditioned into this, and our grandparents and beyond them, because they either lived through the oppressive stuff or they were the oppressors, and it was all from the people that basically were like, we want to own all the land and be in control. And so we're just going to take over you and your culture and your people and kill you unless you conform to us. So it's in our DNA to either conform or be afraid of the repercussions of not conforming. But we're in this now where we're realizing like we don't have to do that. Like we don't have to conform. We can be different. We can be unique. We can be creative and live from this heart space. And because it's literally in our DNA to not be completely free, right? Completely free, mentally free, emotionally free, sexually free, physically free, spiritually free. Like in our timeline, we don't have that freedom in all of our cells. So when we get opportunities to move through experiences that would maybe activate parts that are fear, like parts that have fear, fear of being judged, fear of being oppressed, fear of being punished, fear of being abandoned, fear of failing, all these things, fear of being viewed as a certain way, fear of being viewed as unkind, or fear of being unkind. You know, when these opportunities come up for us to like look at and move through it, when we move through it, that's when we give ourselves the cellular shift and we start to clear ancestral traumas and DNA, and we start to really empower ourselves. And the thing about spirituality to me is that we all do it from the heart. You know, all the ancient texts, it all goes back to the heart. You know, and even when you start to look at like neurophysics and neuroscience and emotional intelligence and mental health and physical health, nervous system health, like the system health, everything is better when we are more in love and in peace, when we're in a place of acceptance and presence. Everything, every data, everywhere, from spiritual texts from the ancients to current, as modern as you can get, proof, scientific proof that we are better when we are living from this space, from the heart. And here's the thing about our culture. We have not been taught how to be or live from the heart. We've been taught to make decisions from the rational mind, not the higher mind. We've been taught to root and anchor in to stuff and things. Buy the house, buy the stuff, buy the things, buy the cars, buy the. And then you'll feel safe and secure. As opposed to the teachings historically that, I was going to say, and future, they are the future teachings. They say to root into this earth, to ground into community, to really anchor in to your human embodiment with grace. Those are the ancient and future teachings. We are living in a bridging the gap between this past and this future way of being. And what we're doing is we're squishing together now all of the stuff that's the word. That's the egotistical. That's the, what can't I think of the word? Unnecessary, unhealthy, unhealthy. That, we'll say that. We're squeezing out all the unhealthy ways that we have been conditioned to be for so long. So it's not comfortable. You know, it feels almost like your heart is getting squished, and it's like, I'm afraid to actually get into this confrontation. Not understanding that confrontation, when it comes from the heart, is a place for the heart to be heard and to be given boundaries so as to not get hurt again. Because what happened before is, like, if you think about it from this perspective, you know, we had all been living from this like big heart space, right? We're in stewardship of the land. We're living off of the land. We're realizing that the earth is full of everything we ever need and more. And it has all the medicine that we could ever use, all the supplies we could ever need, all the inspirational stuff. And all we got to do is like put it together in different ways and play with it. So we were living in that way. And then kind of what came in was this energy, a consciousness, a construct that said, if you don't behave like this, that, and the other, then we're going to hurt you. And it started to really push us in, and it started like confine the heart. And so I feel like what's happening now is that this heart is getting activated even more. So all that stuff, it's like we've switched. I'm getting really galactic here in a minute. Not really galactic, that's not the right word, but like downloading stuff. Anyway, thank you for being here to witness. It's like the term like as above, so below. So we had done like almost like a flip a few years ago. Not really a few years ago. Anyway, we had done like a big, like a flip where everything was kind of away and then like everything just changed. Boom. And for some, it may have been COVID because everything is now. So it's going to happen on different timelines for other people. But like on the collective level, a big flip happened. So it's almost like the heart is like expanding and it's pushing all of this stuff out. And at the same time, it's like all this heart energy is kind of coming in and squeezing out what we don't need. Because it's all energy and it moves in all directions. So because this isn't live, I don't have a lot of the feedback. So this is going to be a lot of me sharing a lot of information that I'm receiving because I've been in a lot of meditation lately and have been clearing my channel. So I've kind of, my frequency is higher. And I'm tapping into a lot more different consciousness levels and I'm enjoying it again. It's been a while. I was under some stress. Anyway, and I'll get to that. So I'm feeling that on a collective level, we're getting this like heart activation. And in doing so, it's not necessarily from the way of like, how can I be of service to make me feel good? Rather, how can I be of service to me and the earth, because to feel good? Because in this heart activation, I think that what's coming up is an actual love and loving relationship with the earth herself. And that type of honor and respect to get given to us, and then that love and respect that we have for us, give it to the earth, and start to really form this symbiotic relationship between the I am and the earth. So I'm really curious, like I invite you to leave comments, like kind of like what you're thinking and feeling about this, you know, your connection with the earth maybe, and not just like connection with the earth, but like on a spiritual level. Like, do you have a spiritual connection with the earth? Like, do you have a type of honor and reverence for all life on earth so much that you give that many shits about the earth herself? I don't think we as a collective do. I don't know many people who are in love with the earth, who are in love with the life on her and in her. I don't know many people that are like in so much gratitude for her that they weep just with tears of gratitude. And when I look back at other spiritual texts from all of the history, that is how the people were. That's how the beings were on it. They loved the mother. They loved the mother. They loved the mother. And then a system came in and shifted everything. It said to honor thy father. And it shifted our love and reverence and acknowledgement and relationship with the mother, and moved it to a place of this form called God. And not that all this form is bad, duh. I'm just saying in the history. And it was in the form of a Christianity that went through and colonized the world, most of the world, still trying to colonize the world. I know people who go to other countries and to try to convert them to believe that Jesus is the Son of God. Use these words and then you'll be right and then you'll be wealthy like me. And they happen to be white. Like the people that go over there are these like white people that are going on these like missionary trips to try to convert people out of their own damn culture to try to be more like them in the name of God and greed. At least that's what I've experienced and studied. If you know something different, please drop a comment. Please. And again, this isn't saying all Christians are this or all that. And obviously, like I'm not putting a blanket statement out there. Just kind of saying the what is. Anyway. So it changed everything. Then we started to refer to everything as he. You know, him. God is a he. We started to give it a gender. You know, when you look at indigenous tribal spirituality connections with the source, the God, the source, it is more often, if it's given a gender, referred to as a she, the mother, because it continually gives life. It's the creator. I was thinking about this, you know, that the earth is usually referred to as she, as compassionate mother. You know, literally she creates crystals, diamonds, quartz, sapphires, you name it. They grow inside of her. She holds, you know, just all of the elements and molecules and atoms, right? She holds all of the atoms, not all of the atoms, there's all around her, we're all atomic. Anyway, but she has all of these atoms in her that she holds the space for, just so that when they come together, they can unite and form crystalline structures just for us. You know, gold, silver, iron. She literally just keeps creating it. And if we leave her alone to create it, she'll create more. Look at that. Now what we do is we go in there and we take it out, and then we mess with her system so that she doesn't have a safe space for these materials to even grow, right? We dig out all the diamonds. So now there's no pressure for them to grow in. So now we don't have diamonds. You know, this is just an example. You know, oh, we have all this coal, let's mine it. Well, now there's no more organic matter to erode and compact to make coal that we need for burning fuels, because we have become a society that has just used and overused because we have stopped having a healthy relationship with the mother. We've taken all of our attention of our heart and focused it on this nebulous of a he figure. You know, because that's the way the system was set up, so that it would be in favoritism of the white man. You know, it started to really oppress women big time, especially medicine women that spoke of the truth of spirituality and the connection to the earth and using the plant as medicine, you know, to alleviate pain, you know, to help women birth. And, you know, and the system changed to where now the men are doctors and telling the women that they don't know what they don't know what to do with their body. So trust us, we're the man doctor. You know, in many states and around the United States, like it's illegal to have a baby at home. You have to have it in a hospital. Like what? Anyway, digressing. Reconnecting to the heart and reconnecting to the mother is, I feel, the next wave of humanity to grow collectively. To stop giving the labels of, well, they're Jewish and they're Catholic and they're Methodist and they do this and they do that and there you go. But to actually, like, you keep your labels, you drop them, I don't even care. But actually come together as a people. Like, drop the labels long enough to commune with other beings, and maybe perhaps instead of even communicating about, well, we believe this and we believe that and that's what we're right and now that's what we're right, but maybe come together to talk about things like, hey, We want to live on this land and do our part to love her. Like, how can we love her more? You know, maybe it's doing big litter pickups, you know, like call to action, right? You know, maybe it's doing a stream clean. Maybe it's doing a new recycling thing at your work, you know, or just reusing and repurposing things, you know, buying organic, growing your own garden, you know, stopping the use of plastic bottles all the freaking time. Buy a jar of honey. When you're done with it, fill it with water. It's delicious. And your body can process this water much better than if it has nanoparticles of plastic floating in it. Bing. Anyway, but remembering that this mother is divine. And I think that once the system took our attention and love and reverence away from the mother, the goddess, the earth, we started to try to fill that void because we all came from her. Doesn't matter what body you're in, you came from a her. Took away that, and so now we have a void. So we try to fill the void with what? They gave us guilt and shame and judgment and fear and like a scarcity mentality to fill that void in. So now we have to clear out all of that, while now we're searching still outside of ourselves and filling it with drugs and alcohol and distractions and stuff and things. We're always searching for love outside of ourselves because we forgot the connection with the mother, the goddess, the creator that I am and that you are. Even if you're in a male identifying body, you have that mother nature in you. You're an earthling. So why do we not do it? Why do we not spend the time and share the time with the mother? We're too busy. You know, this past weekend was Mother's Day. I didn't do enough for my mother to honor her. And it doesn't matter what I would have done anyway, it would not be enough. Not from her perspective, but from mine. There's not enough love I can give her. No, there's not enough love I can show her so that I feel it's enough. I could send cards and flowers and whatever, and it'll make her feel good, and I want her to feel good. And then in my heart, I'm like, those just fall flat. Those haven't, like, whatever. Like, those flowers will never compare to the amount of love that I have for her. So then I fall short. Jane falls short. And then I start to feel bad. I feel guilty about it. And so then I have the choice, like, well, then what do I do differently? You know, like, do I send a card late? Do I surprise her with this? Like, you know, but I think that when we feel like we can't give enough or show enough of the love to the mother, we just don't. We just stop. We just don't even try. And that's shutting down our connection with that part of ourself. You know, the mother, the goddess, the creator, does nothing but give life, hold space, allow for the thrashing of the child or whatever, being birthed and having its own life experience, having the child run away, come crying back, crawling back. And it's just like the earth. You know, she births, shit, man, she's like, volcanoes are erupting. I can't imagine what that would feel like. It's either gonna feel like really good, like a release, or it's gonna be like, ow, this burns. It burns so bad. Ah. You know, it's possible. But she's giving that. She's like giving this life, and then the lava flows back down, and she lets it flow and create bigger versions of her. She grows from it because she knows that it's fertile soil. You know, it's just like the mother, human. You know, all the mothers out there did the best they could with what they had in their mental capacity, their knowledge, in their emotional state, thinking about the way they were raised or neglected, the way, you know, they were taught, trained, conditioned, hurt, abused. You know, the way they were rewarded, maybe. You know, was the mother that you know rewarded because she was beautiful, or was it because she was brilliant? Was she acknowledged because of the love that she had, or was she acknowledged because she burned the candle at both ends? So every single mother out there did the best they could in the moments that they were in their nows in. It's kind of like us. You know, I look back at my life, I think, man, did I really need to do all that stuff? Like, did I really need to make that decision? Did I really need to? And a big part of me is like, no, dummy, you didn't need to do all that, but you did. And you learned from it. And there are things that I did back in the day that I still haven't like learned from. One, because I'm still doing it, or it just hasn't come up into my awareness yet for me to grow from it. And that's when like old past traumas come up. But anyway, the mother has done the best she could. You know, maybe, you know, when she got pregnant, she was afraid of like, maybe she was afraid of getting fat. Maybe she was afraid of being a bad mom. Maybe she was afraid of losing her job. Maybe she was afraid of being punished or abandoned. Like, maybe she was afraid that she was going to have to get sober. You know, maybe she was afraid that she wouldn't be able to. You know, like, could you imagine? Like, could you imagine right now someone just told you, you have, basically right now you have to be perfect. Like right now, you have to be perfect right now. Not like you have to clean your house and make it good for like in a week from now, but like right now you have to be perfect. Well, if you're a woman in a woman body, if you're in a woman body and you have a baby, like you get pregnant, then that's kind of the feeling that you would get, like you have to be perfect right now. And sometimes that's just too much. Anyway, I digressed. What I want to share is, and bring this together with, is, you know, honoring the mother in so much love, because the mother gives life without asking for anything in return. And we've been conditioned to not give in return. Like on a big collective level, like big time. And you look around the globe and just the amount of trees that are no longer standing. To do what with? To what? To make showrooms of fucking MDF furniture and IKEA? Like, what is this? Like, why? To clear the land so that we can put 1 billion cows on it because humans can't stop eating cows? What? You know, because we need to have paper just so we can throw it away? I literally, I don't understand. You know, do we really need to dig so many holes through the earth to pump out fossil fuels? One, for transportation. When people ride in their cars that like to just guzzle the gasoline, go cruise around. I'll just make 15 stops today instead of maybe just one. Let me just order everything online and use all the fuel to fly the planes. I don't care if it's from China, who cares? Even though my local neighbor may make something just as good or better. So instead, I choose to watch, witness, and support big companies drilling holes in the earth, perforating her skin, right, her crust, so that when an earthquake happens, which it does, the energy that moves through the crust stops and gets really weird and wonky in that perforated area, and then can like kind of fractal off. It can also build up. And oftentimes where those holes are drilled, that actually causes earthquakes. Because you put enough in there, the earth is like, ugh. We've gotten detached from the mother. The mothership, the Mother Earth, Mother Nature, the Divine Mother, the Goddess. We've gotten detached from her. Everything forced us into a patriarchal system. You know, after the collapse, takeover of the matriarchy, it went to patriarchy. What I feel would be really great is if we could balance the two. You know, let the matriarchy rise and be acknowledged and seen and loved and honored, cared for, nurtured, you know, listened to, played with. And let the patriarchy support that, be a great structure for that, you know? Like that to me is a balance. We need to have structure. I like structure. I like technology. I like being able to drive my car. I also like energy that they don't teach us or talk about, which is weird. Anyway. So this spirituality to expand in now, maybe it's to reconnect with something bigger that is right under our feet. That when we look down on our bellies, we see a little hole called a belly button. And maybe your mother's no longer here. Maybe you hate her. Maybe you haven't spoken to her. Maybe she hasn't spoken to you. Maybe she just fucked up royally and you can't forgive her. Or maybe you fucked up royally and she can't forgive you. Here's the thing. That's where we are. That's the now. It is. But in this moment, I'm just going to invite you to place a hand on your belly, right over your belly button, and place a hand on your heart. We'll do this together. And just take a big full breath in and sigh it out. And if you want to soften your eyes, go for it. I'm going to do a little loving meditation. Just feel the beating of your heart underneath your hands. Maybe you feel it in both your chest and your belly. Envision the earth itself as you, with hands of source upon it, with so much love and tenderness. Let your breath flow in and out so big, envisioning the winds upon this earth, blowing the pollen to create more life to grow. Perhaps you swallow your spit and think about all of the water that you hold within you and all the water on this earth. And feel the matter of you. Feel the strength underneath and in these hands. And remember the strength of this earth, who's gone through cold times, hot times, times that she's been so wet and covered with water, and times that she's been very dry. And you start to feel the light that you are, the love that you have, this unending well of love that you have within you, just like this earth, always holding you. Breathing in so deeply, settling into yourself with peacefulness as you exhale. And bringing to mind and to heart a connection to the mother. And maybe you don't have a great relationship with any mothers in your life or with women in general. Then use your imagination and just imagine being held by the Divine Mother, the life giver, the goddess. Imagine her holding you as a baby in so much tender love. Imagine her holding you as a youth in all of your hard times and your rebellions and your struggles. Imagine this Divine Mother holding you as you got older and older to this now moment. Imagine the Divine Mother holding you now with so much presence and love. And then imagine this Divine Mother holding you as you get older and older, till you're nearing the end of your human days. And let her hold you in grace. Feel soft and settled in her embrace. And breathe into this Mother Nature. Just be with this moment. Be with this breath. Be with this connection to the earth, all life on earth, and to the life within you, the spiritual you that you are, connected to love, love on earth, love beyond earth, love for life, and what a gift that is. We're eternal and yet so temporary in our nature expression. Take a big full breath, inhale, and sigh it out. You can remove your hands if you want. I think Mother's Day brings up a lot of stuff for a lot of people. The times where my mother and I were in not speaking terms. You know, those were some really hard Mother's Days. And now that I love her so much and we talk and she's far away and I just can't go drop everything and go visit her, which I wish I could. I say I can't. I mean, I guess I just don't, because we can do anything. These Mother's Days are harder, and they're just a different way. It's interesting. I think that they're hard because we have so much love for the mother that hasn't been fully given, therefore, or received, that it just feels like tears just keep wanting to come up when we think about perhaps the mother, the Divine Mother, the earth, when we actually sit and think about it in gratitude, you know, and not getting butthurt like, oh, but it's hot outside, or she didn't love me when I was a kid, or she was mean and abusive, or I don't want to live here, it's too humid, oh, it's raining again. But rather stand up for her, right? Stand up for the climate forcing that is occurring. Stand up for all of the resources that are being taken from her without her consent. Stand up for the small beings that don't have voices, whether they have 4 legs or 2. But to speak up in the name of the motherly love that we are, that we live upon, and that we came from. That's my encouragement. So, yeah, I think that's all I wanted to share. I like doing these live, that's for sure. And I'm really grateful that I was able to get all that out, because that felt good to me. Like, I feel like I needed to say all that. So I want to share, if you want to talk to someone, if you're needing to have a conversation with someone, you need a listening ear, call the front desk or the PRN warm line. I'm lighting the Palo Santo. The number for that's 833-390-7728. It's free. Love is on the other end of the line. I highly encourage calling it if you need. I don't know where it looks like I'm looking, but I'm like watching the clock. And I'm also looking at this painting actually, I've been looking at this painting above me this whole time in meditation, and just like holding that and not looking at my face. So if it looks like I'm like looking off, I'm actually looking like right above my head at this painting that I did years ago. Anyway, I just want to remind you that I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you all. I love you for tuning in. I love you for being on this mothership with me. And I love you for sharing this video. Please share this video. If it resonated anywhere in your heart, please share this video. Please. And donate. Donate to Promise Resource Network. Donate your time. Donate your love. Give it away. Okay, that's all. I love you so much. Have a lovely rest of this day, and I will see you all so soon, okay? Peace.